Welcome back. All right, 6 games tonight in the National Hockey League. We had 2 that were on early, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to put the 2 that are early on the one board just in case we have a crazy game, or I completely fill up the board, which I pretty much did with the first 2. The first 3 games tonight ended up all going to extra time, so 3-point games all around as we get closer to the playoffs. Oddly enough, this one doesn't really affect a playoff picture that much. This one kind of sort of does if you're a Penguins fan, but of course for Detroit, their season's been over for a while. That being said, let's go ahead and jump in with the Winnipeg Jets and the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Buffalo Sabres continue to play really good hockey. And I think we need to acknowledge that the Buffalo Sabres are a good team right now. They come into this one 10-4-1 in their last 15 games. So they've had a really rough time of it in between their good start and their recent 15-game run coming into this one. But they're good. So it's Hellebuck versus Anderson. No Kyle Connor in protocol. Schmidt also in protocol. That is going to change April 1st. You don't have to test coming across the border into Canada. So this won't be an issue in the playoffs. Bryson has a test that saved early press by the Sabres. In fact, the shots are 3-0 Buffalo at 2.5 minutes. Winnipeg was running around a lot early there. Sabres controlling that first half. Hellebuck with a bobble, and it just kind of bounces off his glove, and he's lucky there's no Sabre there. He covers it, and he kind of laughs about it after, but it's kind of scary. Sabres press at 8 minutes. We still have no shots for the Winnipeg Jets. Post then for Dillon, the Jets would press at 9.5 minutes. That's where they get a couple of shots to get off the 0 on that one. Jokiharju then has a tip that saved. Olofsson fires one wide. Cousins was denied. More pressure from the Sabres. Sanford fires high on a fast break, and then it's Girgensons that opens the scoring from Butcher and Okposo at 14:39. And then the Sabres try to add another. The shot attempts with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in that first period are 20-5 for Buffalo. So just lots of pressure, lots of shots, and Hellebuck's keeping this close. Appleton can't bury one on a rebound with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 after that. But we go to the second period. Scheifele can't bury one. Olofsson has a fast break that's saved. And then Wheeler felt bad. So Dubois on 99 career goals. And the puck is on the goal line when Wheeler touched it. I don't think Wheeler would mind if they changed the scoring on that to Dubois. But I don't think they will, because the puck wasn't quite in the net yet when he tipped it. And he even apologized to Dubois. You could see it. So Wheeler gets the goal from Dubois and Stastny at 4:13, and you can see Dubois like, that's fine. It's no big deal. Sabres then with a press at 6 minutes. Cousins has a net drive that's saved, but then Girgensons puts Buffalo back into the lead from Jokiharju and Okposo at 8:24, and he buries that one from pretty close. Jets get a power play. That power play had nothing going for it. Buffalo kills that one off. Then there's a crossbar for Hinostroza. Dubois with a net drive. That was defended. Near miss for Appleton on a rush. He doesn't, or Olofsson, I should say, near miss for Olofsson on a rush. And then Appleton, he scores with 21 seconds left in the period from Ehlers and Heinola, and that ties it up at 2. And the Jets had a much better second period. The scoring tells you that. The shots tell you that. We go to the third period. There's a delay game call. That gives the Sabres a power play. This was not a game that had a lot. But then Appleton, with a shorthanded attempt, that draws a crowd at the Buffalo net because he ends up net crashing on it. It's not on purpose. He didn't mean to run over the goaltender there. So that's killed off, just the 2 shots allowed. Svechnikov has a rush chance that's saved. Sanford's denied from in close. Fans and the Sabres call a penalty. Ref says no. There seemed to be a lot of that tonight. There seemed to be a lot of instances in the games that I was watching tonight with fans getting really upset and looking for a penalty. Can you imagine if games were called by fan reactions? Man, you'd see like home teams would have like 10 power plays a game and the road team would never get any. Dubois robbed on a fast break. Wheeler has a chance that's saved and held. Middlestad kicks one, or has a chance that's kicked aside. Morrissey has one that's a near miss wide. That was a good play for Morrissey there. Dubois then took a puck to the face. He was okay, but that looked scary at the time. And we go to overtime. The overtime, Wheeler has a rush that's denied. Thompson was denied, and then the Sabres get a power play, and they had opportunities. Tuck tips one wide. Skinner has a shot that's blocked. Skinner was then denied after that. Stanley was absolutely exhausted. He was out there for quite a while on that penalty kill, but they did kill it off. Scheifele fires one high in a rush. Olofsson has a rush chance. That's glove saved and held by Hellebuck, and we go to the shootout. In the shootout, all the Jets score. Dubois, Scheifele, and Wheeler. And so they win it in the shootout 3-2. They go to 33, 25, and 10. They stay in the playoff hunt. Buffalo 24, 33, and 11 with the shootout loss. Your shots in this one, 13-5 Buffalo in the first, 11-9 Winnipeg in the second, 10-9 Winnipeg in the third, and then in the overtime, 6-1 Buffalo. Final shots are 37-27 for the Sabres. Power plays 0-1 for Winnipeg, 0-2 for Buffalo. The hits, 15-14 for Winnipeg. Hellebuck saves 35 out of 37. Anderson saves 25 out of 27. Entertaining game. I thought Buffalo was going to steal it, and then they didn't. But, again, Buffalo showing that there are no pushovers. Not at this stage of the season. All right, next up. Rangers. The Rangers in against the Detroit Red Wings. And it almost happened, didn't it? There were points during this game where it felt like Detroit might actually steal this one against the Rangers. It's Georgiev versus Nedeljkovic, and at 3:23 on the second shot of the game for the Rangers, Reeves on a turnover near the net. He ends up putting it in the net, and it's 1-0 Rangers. Wings try to answer. The Rangers clear out, though, from that press by the Wings. Wallman has a rush chance fired wide. Mott with a net feed. That's covered and held by Nedeljkovic before getting to his intended target. Wings press. They get their first shot of the game at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. So it was a lot of Rangers shots before that, or at least a lot of Rangers pressure. Hronik with a rush chance, sad save. The shots even up at that stage, and then Rasmussen would score from Hirose and De Keyser at 9:58. And it's just kind of fired at the net, and you need a save. It was not the only iffy goal for Georgiev tonight. Shots are 4 apiece with 8 minutes left. Like I said, wasn't a lot of shots by the Rangers, a lot of opportunities. Fox with a net drive. Nedeljkovic saves on that. Bertuzzi's denied. The Wings go to the power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Kreider that was saved and held. That power play's almost killed off. Vrana ends up scoring from Seider on the power play at 17:23. And that one's a 5-hole shot from a distance. So again, it ends up not looking great. And, people might say, well, there's a deflection here, there's this there. It's just you want the saves there. Or, if you want to jump down the rabbit hole, Georgiev's making sure that Shesterkin ends up getting the Vezina trophy, because you'll look at the disparity between their save percentages and say, man, Shesterkin must be fantastic. Not that he needs any help. And then Hedl would tie it at 17:34 from Nemeth and Schneider. So the lead lasts 11 seconds for Detroit. Rangers then look for the lead. With 6.3 seconds left, though, the Wings go to the power play. So in the second period, they score on it. It's Bertuzzi from Seider and Raymond at 29 seconds. This lead for Detroit lasts longer than 11 seconds. It was a good setup, a good goal. Kopp nearly answers. Georgiev then saves on Vrana. There's some pushing and shoving after that takes place. Lindstrom fires one wide. The shots are 3 apiece at 4.5 minutes. Reeves and McKegg have chances in close. Both of them are saved. Rangers with a 3-on-2. Lafreniere with a near miss. Some good back and forth at the half. Eventually, the Rangers tie it again. It's Panarin from Vetrano and Zibanejad at 12:15. De Keyser then is denied as the Wings try to answer. The Rangers would press with 4 minutes left. With 2:22 left, the Rangers get a power play. Detroit, to their credit, they killed that off. We go to the third with the score tied at 3. Gagne, he gets shaken up along the boards. He would stay in the game. The Rangers then press at 3 minutes. Veleno with the net drive. That won't go. And then on a face-off win, Detroit gets the lead back. It's Adam Ernie from Stahl and Suter at 5:56. That's the first goal Ernie's had in 25 games. Mott then with a fast break. There's a save. He crashes hard into the boards. He was okay, but that was scary looking. A lot of guys crashing the boards tonight. We will get to one scary incident, and I hope the player is all right tonight. So the Rangers press at 7.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Wings. That was killed off. Vetrano's denied on a turnover, and then with 4:13 left, the Rangers get a power play. They score on theirs, and it's Chris Kreider. So Kreider on the power play from Panarin and Fox at 16:22. It went in off Moritz Seider's skate. That goal for Kreider ties him with Jaromir Jagr. 24 power play goals on the season. That's an all-time record for a New York Ranger. So he's going to break that record. Just act surprised. So we go to the overtime, and in the overtime, it's one of those things where I write down what happened, but I'm so anxious to get the other board going. Forgot to write down who scored. So the Wings control the faceoff. When the Rangers get it, they rush the other way, and at 1 minute and 34 seconds, it's Andrew Kopp scoring the game winner from Panarin. So Winnipeg gets a win. and a former Winnipeg Jet gets the overtime winner on this game. So the Rangers win this one 5-4. They survive that trap game. They go to 44-19-5 with the win, get a little bit closer to Carolina, build up a little bit of distance between themselves and Pittsburgh. And for the Detroit Red Wings, 26-32-9 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one, 9-8 Rangers in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 13-5 Rangers in the third. In the overtime, 2-1 for Detroit, but the shot for the Rangers is the one that matters, right? Final shots, 34-26 for New York. Power plays, 1 for 2 for the Rangers, 2 for 3 for Detroit. Hits, 22-21 Rangers. Georgiev, 22 saves on 26 shots. He's bailed out by his forwards, and Nedeljkovic saves 29 out of 34. So his numbers continue to take a hit. Detroit is allowing a lot of goals these days. We'll see how far down in the goals against list they get before the season's out, but it's been a rough time for them. The Rangers are fine with that. So I need to change boards. Okay, so after quickly verifying I got all this filled out, we've got the Edmonton Oilers at home against the LA Kings. This is the battle for second place. LA keeps second place, but it's really, really close. What happened tonight is a worst-case scenario for teams that are below the playoff line in the West. Every team that you don't want to see get points did. And if you're below the playoff team and your name's Vancouver, we'll get to you. So it's Quick versus Koskinen in this game. Kaliev would score on the first shot for the Kings from Edler and Grundstrom at 2:46. So there you go. Lots of hits early on. There were more hits than shots in the first 5 minutes. Bouchard with a blast. That's blocked by Quick. And then CC would answer for McDavid at 7:24. So that's point number 99 for Connor McDavid on the season. Kings get a power play. Nurse gets dinged up pretty good on a shot block. That power play's killed off. McDavid with a rush chance. Kane fires wide. There's a net feed to Arvidsson. That's cleared out. Draisaitl would add 1 for the lead. He gets his 49th goal from Hyman and Kulak at 18:08. So it's 2-1 Oilers after 1. Second period. Draisaitl with a net rush. That saved. The Kings press at 2.5 minutes. Eventually they get a goal. McDavid. Now, on the app, it showed it was Puljujarvi from McDavid, and I think Nurse was the other. But anyways, the app has now changed it to McDavid's goal and is showing no assist. Doesn't matter. Whatever happens here, whether it goes back to Puljujarvi, I believe it's McDavid's goal. I think there's assists that are going to be awarded later. It is the 100th point for McDavid, and it comes at 5:07. And all of a sudden, it is 3-1. And it looks like the Oilers are ready to roll, right? No. Byfield scores on a turnover at 5:54. So that's less than a minute later, and 14 seconds later, another turnover by the Oilers ends up in their net. It's Grundstrom from Danault and Edler at 6:08. So all of a sudden, the Oilers are in a tie game. Then the Oilers score. It's challenged for goalie interference. The goalie interference challenge works. This is where the ref you suck chance starts again. Problem being, on goalie interference, they're talking to Toronto. The referee really doesn't have the last say. It's Toronto, so it should be Toronto, you suck, which has multiple uses. Anyways, so yeah, the referee was getting serenaded a lot in this game. The Oilers pressed to get it back. Yamamoto hits the side of the net. The Kings rush. Moore has a shot that's saved and held. The fans call a penalty. The ref doesn't. So you know what? Chance started up again there. The Oilers then do get a power play shortly after that, but the Kings kill it off. Third period, some pushing and punching early on. So Evander Kane goes to the box because that's what happens. And the other night, apparently he set a record for post-expansion in terms of the most penalties in a shortest period of time. So there you go. The Oilers do kill it off. The shots are 2-0 for the Kings 3 minutes into this. The Kings then press at 5.5 minutes. Velarde can't bury one as there's more chance about the referee and his various levels of suckage. Kempe then gets the 11th shot of the period for the Kings. The Oilers had none. I didn't hear the referee being blamed for that, though. I was getting a kick out of that. With 11:05 left, the Oilers get a power play, and then 27 seconds later, it becomes a 4-on-4, which again brings up the ref chance. Nurse fires wide on a rush. Everything's killed off. Bouchard then has a chance that saved. The Kings rush the other way. Yamamoto's denied with 3 minutes left. This was destined for overtime because to this point in the night, everything had gone to overtime, and these games were all close going into the third, and I thought, so if all 6 head into overtime, that might be kind of funny. In the overtime, the Kings control in the face-off. Draisaitl gets one. Danault, though, takes it right back. So, Draisaitl gets a turnover, and then Danault takes it back from him. R&H to Hyman was defended. Doesn't happen. There's a near miss then for Draisaitl. Spence hits a post. The puck goes the other way, and then McLeod has a near miss on his rush chance. The ref gets serenaded in overtime as well. So they wanted a power play in overtime. McLeod has a rush that's saved. We go to a shootout. In the shootout, Draisaitl scores, McDavid scores, and there you go. The Oilers win this one 4-3. In the shootout, they go to 38-25-5. The Kings drop to 36-23-10. And again, this race is very close now, just 1 point separating these two teams. The shots, 15-11 Kings in the first, 8-7 Oilers in the second, 17-11 Kings in the third. In the overtime, 3-2 for the Oilers. The LA Kings outshot the Oilers 41-33 overall. Power plays, LA 0-3 and Edmonton 0-2. Hits 32-28 for the Oilers. Quick saves 30 out of 33. He had a good game. Koskinen did as well. After allowing a goal on the first shot, he saved 38 of the next 40. So Koskinen, nice bounce back game for him. He's had a rough time in some recent games, and this one might very well get him back on track. So pretty big win for the Oilers. They would have rather had it in the regular 60-minute fashion rather than going to extra time, but in the end, they do get those 2 points. All right, next up, St. Louis and Vancouver. So first time I'm using this magnet. I just got that today. As in I got a sticker today, made a magnet out of it. So I thought, yeah, all right, I'll use the 80s, late 80s Blues and the Canucks, and that'll be fun. Yeah, no. Husso versus Demko. The shots are 2-0 for the Canucks at 4 minutes. Lockwood had a backhand that was saved and held. I think Lockwood's looked good. I don't know whether other Canuck fans are going to agree with me on that, but at this point in the season, the Canucks are basically done, and so we're looking to the future. I think Lockwood should have a chance at a bottom 6 job next year. Tarasenko fires one high during a 4-on-2. Demko then robs Tarasenko in close on his next shift. Garland can't bury one as the Canucks press. Demko then covers as the Blues were pressing, but the Blues had the momentum. They had that slow start, and then they started getting that momentum, and the Blues are really impressive when they get their game going. Pearson has a blast that misses wide. Thomas with a rush. Goal line stand for Demko there. It's scoreless after 1. Second period. Chason scores at 31 seconds. He buries it in close from Richardson and OEL. So a nice hard-working shift early on. Gets them the goal and puts them up 1-0. The Canucks then press for another. In fact, 2.5 minutes into this period, the shots are 3-0 for the Canucks. So again, a fast start for Vancouver in the first. A fast start for the Canucks in the second. But Tarasenko has a net drive that's saved and held. And then at 7:26, Leddy scores one right underneath the arm of Demko. Demko thought he had it, didn't. O'Reilly and Perron with the assists on that one, so that ties it up. And then the Blues have momentum, and they're seeking the lead. And turnovers were becoming a problem for the Canucks at this point as well. The Blues getting some opportunities on some turnovers. Saad has a chance that's blocked. Shen has a turnover shot that's saved, and that's Braden Shen, not Luke Shen. Luke Shen is not mentioned on this board at all. I understand both of them are playing this game. Luke Shen didn't generate offensive opportunities for the Canucks in anything I saw. 10 shots in the row for the Blues. But on the first shot the Canucks had since those 10 shots in a row, Pettersson puts it in from Patan at 12:48. And to be fair, that's on a turnover as well. Lots of goals on turnovers right now in the NHL. The Canucks then get a power play. So they're up 2-1. They got a power play. Is this where the momentum? No, special teams have been a problem for the Canucks this year. Although the power play's been good, this is not. A shorthanded goal by Thomas at 15:29. It's a break on a turnover, and then the Blues kill off the rest of it. And then the Blues go right to the power play immediately after that power play ends. So this is kind of a just horrible adding up of things conspiring against Vancouver. Myers gets dinged up. He heads off the ice. And when he got dinged like that, I thought, okay, so he blocked that shot. Now it's like 5-on-3. But then during that power play, he did get off the ice. Doesn't matter. O'Reilly scores on the power play from Shannon Perron at 17:16. So after the second period, for the Blues, they're up 3-2. Third period, early jump for the Blues. This was a little different. Husso holds. Garland was seeking a rebound there. Not very many rebounds from Husso tonight. Shots are only 1 apiece at 5.5 minutes. The Blues are ahead. This is how they lock it down. Falk then has a rush chance that's saved and held, and then it's Walker. He scores from McEachern and Falk at 9:29. Patan then can't bury as the Canucks press back. The Blues were doing a good job of protecting the lead. However, Garland would make it 1 goal closer. He scores from Miller at 15-11. That's the first goal for Garland in a while. Maybe they'll get people off his back asking him about it. It has to be brutal to be an NHL player and have people constantly asking, so why can't you score right now? What's wrong with you? Are you injured? No? That sucks. That has to suck for you. Why can't you score? Why are you broken? It's gotta be hard for them to keep giving pat answers when they're getting questions about why they can't score. Like as if they planned it that way. So the Canucks press fans wanted a call here, so there was ref you suck chance going there too. Besser's denied. Husso holds on. Goalie's pulled with 2 minutes left. Pearson's denied with 1:10 left. Blues ice it with 18.6 left. They iced it again shortly after that, but the Canucks don't tie it. Your final score is 4-3 St. Louis. They go to 37-20-9. Vancouver 32-28-9 with the loss, and their playoff hopes. I'm going ahead and saying it. I think they're done. Your shots in this one, 7-5 St. Louis in the first, 12-9 St. Louis in the second, 11-5 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 25-24 for Vancouver. Power plays, St. Louis goes 1 for 1, so they're very good on theirs. Vancouver 0 for 1 on theirs, and it allowed a shorthanded goal. So special teams kind of do them in tonight. Your hits, 27-25 for Vancouver. Husso saves 22 out of 25. Demko saves 20 out of 24. I think that the numbers don't tell you the goaltenders played pretty well. Just the teams were pretty good at shot selection tonight. All right, moving along. Arizona at home against San Jose. I'm going to say straight off at the start of this one, I hope Keller's okay. I don't know what injury we might be looking at for Keller, but there are a few things that we could be looking at for Keller. Leg comes to mind, but with how violent that crash is, concussion comes to mind, and various neck, shoulder. Anyways, we'll go through it, and again, I'm really impressed with how Arizona ended this game, because their hearts were not in this game after that. So it was Reimer versus Vejmelka in this one. The shots are 1 apiece at 3.5 minutes, and it stays that way for a while. There really wasn't much happening in this game for a while. Leonard's then denied and close. The Sharks press. The Coyotes then get a power play. We end up with 13 seconds of 4-on-4s. There's a penalty near the end of it. And then on the Sharks power play, they score. It's Reedy from Leonard and Merkley at 12:15. And that was with only 3 seconds left in that power play. So they were so close to killing it. It's when the Beaver taps are being heard from the goalie at the other end of the ice. Mayo then has a chance saved as the Coyotes press, but Ritchie ties it. So Nick Ritchie continues his comeback story. He scores from Schmaltz and Strawman at 15:46. I know it says Schwartz, I mean Schmaltz, because there is not a Schwartz currently playing on the Arizona Coyotes. Hasn't been for a while. So in the last minute, Burns has a shot that's saved and held. It's 1 apiece after the first period. Second period, Ritchie had a close call in the first minute of the second period, so he almost adds another there. Reimer saves as the Coyotes are pressing early. Dineen then has a chance that's blocked. It's more pressure. It's all Coyotes for the first 5 minutes. Ritchie has a tip that's saved, and then it's Unique. Unique looked really good tonight. If he can keep this up and be consistently this good, they got a player. He scores from Kessel at 8:33, and as I put up here, it's a reward for a solid game. He was very prominent before that. He had a lot of opportunities before that either weren't quite hitting the net, getting blocked, or goalies making the save. Reedy's then denied. Vejmelka holds there, but a little bit later, Burns scores from Hertl and Meyer at 14:07. We then had a post for Hertl. It was the second post in the game. The Sharks press. Much better second half for San Jose as they had tied up the game and they're getting opportunities. Carcone then fires wide on a rush. Carcone's been playing a bunch for Arizona since the deadline. I do like how Arizona looked at the deadline and they sold off the pieces they could. And now they're giving a look to guys from the AHL, and who knows, some of these guys may be keepers. So we go to the third period. Eriksson's denied in the slot. You know how I feel about Louis Eriksson not getting a goal. I don't like it. Coyotes press at 2.5 minutes. Boyd is denied, and they mentioned Boyd didn't have any points in his last 9 games, which is right around when he signed his contract extension, right? So I mean, it's one of those things that just kind of happens. Crossbar then for Couture on a break. Nice to see Couture back in the lineup tonight, really is. Galchenyuk then has a net feed that's defended. Reedy with a fast break. He's denied. The Sharks press. Deneen with a blast from the shot, from the slot, that's saved. And then Unique on a face-off win for the Arizona Coyotes in the San Jose zone. He scores from Kessel and Strollman at 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Then there's a power play for the Sharks looking for the tie. That's killed off. And then what happens with Keller is it's one of those crashes into the boards, and I talked about it with the first two games. Guys crashing into the boards, guys going full bore straight at the boards. There's no give, none. And it is scary. It's why when guys get boarded, it's the one thing that really makes me kind of wince, and I always kind of feel nervous because there is no give there. I mean, if a guy gets cross-checked in the middle of the ice, he usually will fall down. If a guy gets cross-checked into the boards, he may not get back up right after. So Keller was stretchered off. I mean, he could have broken his leg from the way that he was laying there. I don't know, but it looked bad. He did give the thumbs up as he was being taken off. So he was awake, he was alert. But again, there could be any source of ailments. I saw when seeing him stretchered off like that, my first thought was his season is done. He is not coming back for the rest of the year. So I haven't seen an update on that yet. Obviously, there'll probably be a news video tomorrow, which should make reference to that. But I think Keller's season is done. And then we have to go back to playing hockey. And so again, for the Coyotes, it has to be tough to go back to playing the game with that in the back of your mind. Barabanov was denied, Vejmelka holds. So it looked like San Jose might be able to tie this. However, Hayden scores from Boyd at 17:02. What I like with this is that it's Hayden's first point in 7 games. Clearly he knew it had been a while for Boyd because immediately he points at Boyd, and it was a nice moment. So at that point they're down by 2, so San Jose has to pull the goalie. That allows Schmaltz to hit the empty net at 19:14, and I was so happy about it that I actually wrote it correctly instead of putting Schwartz. Done that in a long time. So Schmaltz gets the empty netter. The final score is 5-2 in favor of the Arizona Coyotes. They go to 21, 41, and 5. You know, the odd thing, too, is that I always put all the logos up before the game start. I had no idea they were actually wearing this jersey tonight, so happy accident. The Sharks drop to 29, 29, and 8. They're back to NHL 500. Your shots in this one favor San Jose the whole way. 11-4 in the first, 12-9 in the second, 19-11 San Jose in the third. Final shots 42-24 for the Sharks. Power plays 1 for 2 for San Jose, 0 for 1 for the Arizona Coyotes. Hits 33-20 for San Jose. Reimer makes 19 saves on 23 shots. They got Vejmelka. He makes 40 saves on 42 shots. And this is what Karl Vejmelka is able to do. He might have mediocre stats for 3 or 4 games, and then all of a sudden, I think I'm going to save 40 tonight. Yeah, and he goes out and saves 40, and it's remarkable to watch. So the Coyotes get a win, and they'd end up pulling within a point of a team I'm about to talk about in the other game from tonight, which was the Seattle Kraken at home against the Vegas Golden Knights. So Vegas needs points. We know this, right? They were 1 point behind Dallas. Dallas has games in hand. They cannot afford to lose. And I mean at all. And of course, what hurts them too is this ends up being a 3-point game. Both the Kings and the Oilers get points. So they don't gain anything on the Oilers, and they would only gain 1 on the Kings. This is just the math doesn't work very well. So what they have to hope for is Dallas to go into a slump, which absolutely can happen. So Thompson versus Drieger, Leonard in as the backup. So Leonard being the backup means he's close to returning. That's great news, of course, if you're a Vegas fan. Thompson, Leonard, and Logan Thompson's done a good job. Now, the other thing, too, tonight he was wearing his Henderson pads. So he's been wearing the Henderson Silver Knight pads because he's been playing well with them, and I love a superstitious goaltender. I think that's great. I know, just for myself, if I go play a game of street hockey, I will change my stick in the middle of the game. There are subscribers to this channel that have seen me do that. See me leave, go to the van and come back with a different stick and say, the stick's no good today, so I took it and I switched it out. So when I see somebody changing their equipment, deciding to keep the same pads if you're a goaltender, I like that. So Seattle has the early jump. There's a power play, though, for Vegas. A shorthanded chance for Donskoy. That's saved. Power play's killed off just the 1 shot. The shots are 6-1 for Seattle at 6 minutes. Seattle must have thought that was good because they stopped generating shots. Vegas getting zone time, did need some shots. We then had a fight between Kolasar and Alexiak. Vegas gets their second power play. Really aggressive penalty kill by Seattle kills it. They're still not getting shots. Seattle goes over 10 minutes without a shot. Carlson can't bury one from the slot. Borgen then has a shot that was tipped wide. Seattle would end up getting 1 shot in the final 14 minutes of that period. So we go to the second scoreless. Rask with a net feed, that's defended. Vegas rushes. Seattle presses at 2.5 minutes. We then get a power play for the Kraken. There's a shorthanded break for Karlsson. He's denied. That power play's killed off. That's the only one Seattle had all night. And then out of the box, after that power play ends, Theodore scores. He was the one that was in the box from Ronbjerg at 7:38. So it's that infamous, watch the guy coming out of the box. Never mind, they just scored. Seattle tries to answer. Logan Thompson making saves. Very sound goaltender tonight. Played very well. Pressed then by Seattle with 8.5 minutes left. Dunn has a screenshot that was saved and held. Dodonov, sharp angle shot. Dodonov, smart move there too, because I think he saw a little bit of an opening, and Drieger closes it out. Eichel's then denied on a fast break. Seattle presses. Soucy has a blast that's kicked aside. Vegas was getting chances in the final minute and a half, and it looked like the third period Vegas. Third period Vegas is much different from first and second period Vegas. It's a much better team than first and second period Vegas. If they could be third period Vegas in every period, they'd win a lot more games. Marchessault and Karlsson were denied in that final minute. So, third period. Seattle had the lone shot 3.5 minutes into the period. So, there's just not a lot going on. But at 7:03, Amadio puts one in off of Larsson's skate. So, Karlsson and Marchessault with the assists on that at 7:03 makes it 2-0. And at this point, you know Seattle's probably done. They haven't generated enough, and when they have, Thompson makes the saves. Power play for Vegas. It felt like that was likely going to end it, because Seattle had been looking for an answer. They've been pressuring a bit, but then Vegas gets that power play. But a really strong penalty kill by Seattle doesn't let them set up. And Vegas players slamming the door when they get to the bench. Jen Botterill in between benches. I have to say, of the people in between benches, Jen Botterill is one of my favorite. Maybe at the end of the year I'll discuss that in a video, my favorites that, in between the benches. I think Jen is insightful. She's entertaining as well. And yeah, I think she does a good job of it. So shots are 9-4 for Vegas with 5.5 minutes left. Sprong then has a blast that's saved and held. Again, Daniel Sprong's been a good player for Seattle. He's fit in pretty well. Goalie pull with 3 minutes left, because you need a goal here. So Seattle scores. Music starts playing. Immediately, though, it's challenged for offside. So what do I do when it's offside? I take the magnet off the board and put it away, because it's almost always offside. Almost. Very rarely you'll see a coach challenge for offside that it's not actually offside. So that, no goal, and then Marchessault hits the empty net at 19:33. Your final score is 3-0 for Vegas. They go to 37, 28, and 4. For Seattle, they're 21, 40, and 6. So your shots in this one: 7-6 Seattle in the first, 14-9 Van. That's no. So this is one of those things where it's, I'm trying to get everything on the board at the end. Yeah, Vancouver played 2 games tonight. They won one and they lost the other. No, Vegas, VGK. So Seattle outshoots them 7-6 in the first. Vegas outshoots them 14-9 in the second and 10-7 in the third. So they really took over the game in the second and third. Final shots, 30-23 for Vegas. Power plays, 0-for-3 for Vegas, 0-for-1 for Seattle. Hits, 26-15 Seattle. Thompson saves all 23 shots, I should say, for his first career shutout. Drieger saves 27 out of 29. Another good night of hockey from Drieger. He continues to improve his stats. Sadly, Seattle didn't give him any goal support tonight. And these teams meet again in a couple of days in Seattle. So Seattle's got to learn from this, analyze some tape, and see if they can come back and do anything different in the next game. It worked for them against LA. We'll see if it works for them against Vegas. Let me know your thoughts regarding tonight's games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.